I've never pitched for a brand deal in my life, and yet brands like Wix, Skillshare, FlexiSpot, BenQ, Domestika, and loads more have reached out to sponsor me and my channel. And I've never really talked about those partnerships. I've just done them and then moved on my merry way. So it wasn't until recently that I sat down and properly thought about why these companies reached out to sponsor me. If you're new here, my name's Meg and I have an art channel, Fizz and Flourish, where all of these sponsorships happened. And now on this channel, the Creative Juice Club, I share the strategies behind growing a creative business. So I wrote down why I think I got these sponsorships so that you can start attracting them too. And make sure you stay till the end because I am going to show you one of the strangest adverts I have ever done, which I genuinely think says a lot about why brands choose certain creators.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah, we will come back to that. So just to give you a little bit of context, when I got my first paid brand deal, I didn't have a huge audience. I had less than 2,000 subscribers and I was paid £800 per video and there were 2 videos. And before that, I was being gifted products to try out and show to my audience. So this isn't about having a massive following. It's about the kind of content you're making. I think there's this assumption that brands only want to work with you if you're a huge creator with masses of views. But honestly, that's not what I've seen or experienced myself. So a lot of brands actually prefer working with smaller creators. So like micro influencers or nano creators. So if you don't know, a nano influencer usually has under 10,000 subscribers and micro is around 10 to 100,000. And those smaller creators are usually the sweet spot for brands. And it makes sense when you think about it. When you have a smaller audience, it's usually a lot more specific. It's people who are really there for you. They're not just casually scrolling past your content, they're actually watching, listening, and paying attention. And that means there's a level of trust there that's really hard to replicate at scale. So you're not just another creator they follow, you're someone whose opinion they actually really value. So from a brand's perspective, they're not just looking at how many people you can reach, they're thinking, if this person recommends something, will people actually care? And remember, brands don't just have one big budget for one big creator. A lot of the time, they would rather work with multiple smaller creators because it spreads their budget, which means it spreads their risk. It gets their products in front of different audiences and it often performs better too. So if you're sitting there thinking that you don't have a big enough audience yet, then I really don't think that that's something that should be holding you back. So now that we know that brands want to work with smaller creators, we need to do everything we can to get in front of them. And I'm going to share 5 reasons why I think that worked for me and how you can use this and apply it to your creative business. Number 1, I was very easy to understand. When someone landed on my content, it wasn't confusing what I did or who it was for. I was sharing my work as an illustrator. I was making products and I was showing behind the scenes of running a creative business. Brands don't want to figure you out. They want to land on your page and instantly think this person would be perfect for this product or service, because if they don't get what your channel is about, and this could be YouTube, Instagram, a blog, but most of my brand deals, bar a few, have been here on YouTube. But if they don't know who you cater to, they don't know if their product or service is going to land with your audience. Number 2, and I think this is a big one, is that I was already making the kind of content that brands actually need. And by that, I mean, I wasn't just posting finished pieces of art, I was explaining what I was doing, showing my process, talking through my decisions, and that's exactly what brands are looking for. They're not just looking for something that looks nice, they're looking for someone who can communicate, someone who can naturally talk about something, show how it works, and fit it into their content without it feeling forced. And without realizing it, I was already doing that. And actually, speaking of explaining things and structuring content, I guess this is technically a sponsored video because I'm sponsoring it myself. So this video is brought to you by Artova, which is the system that I built for creative business owners like me to plan content, organize ideas, and actually follow through on them. So videos like this don't just happen. I've got all my ideas mapped out, broken down into sections, and planned ahead. And that is exactly what Artova helps with. It's basically an all-in-one hub designed for creative thinkers. So instead of having ideas scattered everywhere, you can actually organize them in a visual way, turn them into content, plan things like product launches, and keep track of what's going on day to day, and actually move your bigger goals forward. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So you might be thinking that you're not good at talking on camera, and honestly, neither was I. Talking to the camera is not easy for a lot of us. I actually want to show you something. This is a clip from one of my first ever studio vlogs.
Hi guys, welcome to my first ever studio vlog. My name's Meg and I am an illustrator living in Edinburgh.
Look at me. So young, carefree, and I've aged about 10 years by 3 young kids. But my point is, if you compare that to how I'm talking to you now, it's completely different. And the only difference is practice. There's no hack to it. There's no shortcut. It's literally just showing up again and again and getting more comfortable over time. Because I'm actually quite introverted, which people don't usually believe because I'm here chatting away on camera, but this still feels scary to me. But that ability to sit down, talk through something, explain what you're doing, that's exactly what brands are looking for. And it doesn't come from being naturally confident, it comes from practice. So if you feel awkward on camera right now, that's not a sign that you can't or shouldn't do this. It's just a sign that you haven't done it enough yet. Number 3 is trust over views. So the third thing is that I was building trust, not just views. So I wasn't chasing viral content. I was showing up consistently, talking to the same people over time and sharing what I was learning, what I was doing, and building that relationship with my viewer. So when I did talk about a brand, people actually listened. And I think brands can see that. They're not just looking at your numbers, they're looking at how people respond to you. Number 4 is YouTube as the advantage. So most of my brand deals didn't come from Instagram, they came from YouTube. And I think that is because YouTube gives you space, mainly in the long form content, to actually showcase how you think, your personality and your stories, not just a quick clip of your work. And from a brand's perspective, they can literally watch your content and see exactly how you would explain their product or service to your audience. So number 5 is retention. Now, I don't think I've ever actually said before because I'm kind of scared to hurt someone's feelings, but I really believe it plays a big role in this, and that is retention. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth does video retention have to do with brand deals? Well, quite a lot really, because if you can get people to actually watch your content, your views go up, your engagement goes up, but more importantly, brands can see that. They can see that when you talk about something, people are still there listening. They don't want their product or service mentioned halfway through a video that no one's watching anymore. They want to know that if you include them in your content, it's actually going to be seen. And this is the part where I worry about hurting people's feelings, but I'm going to say it anyway. You have to cut things out. Even if it feels interesting to you, it doesn't always mean it needs to stay in the video. People just don't have the same attention span anymore. And of course, there are people who love longer, slower content. But if you actually want your videos to perform, you need to get to the point. So when I was filming my studio vlogs, I might have 5 hours worth of footage and I turn that into a 20-minute video, which means hours and hours of footage that just didn't make the cut. But that's also why I think those videos worked, because what was left were the best parts, the parts that people actually stayed and watched, and that is what brands are looking at. Now today, I don't think that the over-edited, fast-moving content is the way to go. I think people are getting a bit tired of it, but that doesn't mean that your stories or the way you tell them can't be interesting and to the point. Okay, and my final point, which I promised I would get to at the start of this video, is your personality. Because yes, brands are looking for someone who can explain things, communicate clearly, fit into their content naturally, but they're also looking for you and your uniqueness. And I think one of the best examples I have of this is a sponsorship I did with Skillshare. Now, this video was not sponsored by them. I'm just going to share a snippet. Let's roll the clip.
Thank you, Brenda. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of the Art Olympics. I'm Kevin McDougall, reporting live from the creative arena where the world's top artists are gearing up for the ultimate showdown. But before we kick off the competition, I've got an important announcement. Our secret weapon for success? Skillshare. Thank you, Brenda. Back to the studio.
For some reason, I decided to film it like a news reporter. They never asked me to, but I wanted to make it creative and I wanted to make it fun. And they really appreciated it. I mean, I remember filming this in the middle of summer in my husband's suit with 2 newborn twins sleeping in the room opposite. And honestly, looking back, I think I had slightly lost the plot. But at the same time, it's me, and that's my personality coming through in the content. It's a bit random, and I was probably just a bit sleep deprived, but I actually think that's a big part of why brands have reached out, because they're not just looking for someone to read a script, they're looking for someone who can make the content feel interesting, memorable, and a bit unique to them. Because if everyone presents things exactly the same way, it just kind of all blends together. Whereas if you bring your own personality into it, even if it feels a bit weird or a bit out there, it gives people and brands something to actually remember you by. So if you're holding yourself back from doing something because you're not used to putting yourself out there, just remember my news report. That might actually be the thing that sets you apart. So remember, it's not just about posting more content, it's about making content people actually stay for. So when I look back at why brands started reaching out to me, it wasn't because I was pitching to them and it wasn't because I had a massive audience, it was because of how I was creating content. And I think that's actually a much better position to be in, because it means that you're not chasing brand deals, you're becoming the kind of creator that brands want to work with. And if a brand landed on your content today, would it be obvious how they could work with you? And if you want help actually getting to that point where your ideas are clear, your content is structured, and your business feels a little bit less all over the place, that is exactly why I built Artova. So don't forget to check out the free trial from the description below. And if you want to hear me go deeper on income streams as a content creator, go watch this video next on how I built a creative business that doesn't rely on product sales. You can watch it right here.